Welcome back, and definitely we'll move on to the next segment, and it's really interesting, and it's about India. India-Kuwait relations are bilateral diplomatic relations between the Republic of India and the state of Kuwait. The two countries share friendly ties. Kuwait houses a large expatriate Indian population and the source of, or for 10 to 12% of India's oil imports, while India is among the largest trade partners of Kuwait. To know more about this topic, let's all welcome with a pleasure and honor His Excellency Dr. Adarsh Swaika, the Ambassador of India to Kuwait. Mr. Ambassador, it's really a pleasure to have you, and we wish you a happy holy month of Ramadan in Kuwait. Your Excellency, how long have you been in Kuwait?
First of all, thank you, Mr. Farid, for having me on this very popular show of Good Morning Kuwait.
Thank you.
I have been now almost 4 months. I came in early December, and I'm enjoying your hospitality.
Yeah, and definitely, how did you find it, Mr. Ambassador?
No, so far it has been very good, and I deeply appreciate the warmth and hospitality of Kuwaitis, particularly people whom I met. They always have a very deep connection with India, and that is something which is really special for an ambassador of any country to Kuwait.
Absolutely, we see the Indian subcontinent as our destination and sanctuary, like before the Kuwaiti discover the oil. This was destination number one, to bring goods and everything. Definitely India has a great effect on its neighbors and related friendly countries. So Indians have an admirable amount of Islamic community. Can you describe Ramadan month in India, Your Excellency?
No, you are true when you say that India has a large Islamic community. It is true. And in fact, India has one of the largest Muslim populations in the world, and if I am not wrong, it is over 200 million of different denominations across the length and breadth of the country.
Yes.
And I don't know whether you are aware of not, but Islam came to India in the very lifetime of Prophet Muhammad.
Yeah.
And one of the first mosques in India, probably in Kerala, was also built in the 7th century.
Okay.
So actually, the point I'm trying to make is that Islam came to India in the very early days, and that has been the culture of India to assimilate religions, thought,
diversity,
philosophy. India has been the birthplace of many religions.
Absolutely.
And so India has embraced Islam with equal
rights.
Yes.
Definitely, we know that Indian movie, the three brothers, Amar, Akbar, Anthony, Amitabh Bachchan, and Dharmendra, and I think.
No, it was Amar Akbar.
And one was a Muslim, the other one was Hindu, the third one was Christian. So it's, that shows, how the beautiful diversity in India, definitely. And we are like well-known Kuwaitis, for loving the Bollywood, especially the Indian movies. Like I'm an old generation, so I'm with the Amitabh Bachchan generation. Definitely, the industry film is really big, and it's a significant aspect of the Indian economy.
No, you are right when you say Bollywood has actually captured the imagination of people across the world, and I'm very, very happy to see that even young generation in Kuwait, they follow the Bollywood movie, they follow Bollywood stars. Obviously, as you mentioned, they still remember many of the stars, many of the Bollywood stars, Amitabh Bachchan, and in the younger generation, Shah Rukh Khan, and all. They are extremely
Amir Nowadays, Khan, Shah Rukh Khan and Imran Khan and all these guys, definitely. And we learn a lot, from these characters. So what are some of the common, well-known tradition in India during the time of the month, of the holy month?
No, Ramadan is actually a very, very festive season in India. Wherever you go, different cities, you will find a lot of celebrations, decorations, lighting. People are going to meet each other's families, and everybody, even people from all religions, partake in the joyful celebration. You go to, I would say, in Delhi, in the Jama Masjid area, in Mumbai, Muhammad Ali area, you go to other parts of the country, Charminar, Hyderabad, you will see the cities decorated, people meeting each other, and a festive spirit all around. So, and food, when you talk of India, food is one thing, something very special. And Ramadan time, there are different kind of food. You go to northern India, you'll find halim is a very, very popular dish made of meat, that wheat and lentils. Similarly, you go to South India, you have variations of food in different parts of India. Sheer kurma, then you have this biryani. Even different parts of India will have different variations of biryani. Then kebabs. So time is good to have.
And who wouldn't, you know, honestly, with the spices that you really beautiful, makes the food really tasty.
That's
and definitely Indian food is something we can't, you know, deny. And by the way, the majority of the restaurants in Kuwait, you know, back in the 70s and 80s was Indian restaurants. The chapati, burrata, and all
also many of your food are influenced with Indian cuisine. So I think biryani is one such food.
True. So let's you know, have the commenting on the diplomatic relations between Kuwait and India, Your Excellency.
You mentioned very deep history of Kuwait, and therefore India-Kuwait diplomatic relations continue to be excellent.
How long?
And we celebrated 60 years of our diplomatic relation in 2021. So we are in the 62nd year. 62nd year. And India was one of the first countries to establish diplomatic relations with Kuwait. And we have cooperation in diverse areas. We celebrated 60 years of our diplomatic relations.
This is like formally 60 years.
Formally, yeah, 62 years.
Formally, we're talking about 300 years.
300 years, yes, particularly 18th, 19th century, you see so much of maritime trade between India and Kuwait. People from Kuwait going to India on wooden dhows, carrying dates, Arabian horses, pearls, and coming back with wood, spices, textiles. Active burgeoning trade between India and Kuwait during the 18th, 19th centuries, and that is where I think we need to look at further diversifying our trade basket. Today our trade basket is basically oil and food, but I think given how both our economies are growing, I think there is a lot of potential for diversifying our trade basket. And one particular thing is how to leverage investments. You have one of the largest sovereign wealth funds in the world.
Absolutely.
And similarly, India today is a large investment destination. Over $800 billion have been invested in India in the last 20 years. So I think we need to find complementarities there and see how we can leverage each other's economy.
Definitely. And not to forget the labor and the engineers, the IT. You know, it's they say Silicon Valley in the States is Indian Valley. MashaAllah, that's because, you know, the Indians are very smart with softwares.
No, that is why you see so many engineers, so many doctors, professionals in Kuwait. Almost all your companies, if you see the CFOs, the engineers are Indians.
Absolutely. This is how, you know, that shows, you know, that's an indication of, you know, how smart are, you know, the Indian engineers. So can you tell us more, Your Excellency, about the measures taken toward the climate change, you know, especially that its impact on most of the countries. So what's the Indian perspective and perception?
By this question, you have touched my nerve, because I say that because I have been associated with climate change negotiations. I was part of the Indian negotiating team way back in when the Paris Climate Treaty was being negotiated. So climate change, yes, it is a real existential threat, and we need to, it is not only one country that can do something about it. It requires concerted action by all countries, and India has been no exception. And in fact, India has taken very, very strong climate action. While India has not been a major contributor to the historical emissions, which is why happening today.
the Western society.
Yes, then, but we have decided to be part of the
solution.
To be a very integral part of the solution.
Yeah.
Now, if you are familiar with the UNFCCC, the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change, under that, the developed countries are obligated to provide climate finance and climate technology to developing countries like the South. But that has not come as it has been promised by them. But still, I think countries, developing countries, particularly I can say about India, has taken a very strong climate action. And our Prime Minister Narendra Modi, he has taken very strong commitments in Glasgow in 2021. Particularly, he mentioned that non-fossil energy capacity, we will reach 500 gigawatts of non-fossil energy capacity by 2030. And we have already achieved 175 gigawatts in that. And he also made more announcement, that is that we will achieve net zero emissions by 2070. So all this will require very strong climate action. We are
are we talking about the sustainability and sustainable energies, renewable energies, the natural resources, other than just manufactories and stuff like that?
I think that is what I mentioned, non-renewable renewable energy. And today India is fourth in terms of solar energy, in terms of wind energy, and in terms of total renewable energy capacity. And this we are doing despite the fact that we are a developing country. We have not contributed to the historical emissions. And we have a large population. We are today going to be the most populous country. So we have a large population to take care of the basic energy needs. But when it comes to climate change, we are taking very strong action on clean, renewable, even on the, we are taking very ambitious programs on the hydrogen energy as well, green hydrogen.
Definitely, it's a worldwide issue, and definitely we need all the efforts, from all the countries, and we wish, because this is our, Mother Earth.
That's true.
Definitely. So can we talk more, Mr. Ambassador, about, the multilateral economic initiative undertaken by the Indian and Kuwait currently?
On the economic side, you may be aware that India today is holds the presidency of the G20 Group of 20, and we will hold the G20 Summit later this year. We are also holding the presidency of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Within these two formats, there are a number of initiatives which India has taken, particularly on the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, where you have joined as a dialogue partner last year. Two important initiatives which India has pioneered is, one is on the traditional medicine systems, and the other is on startups and innovation. Similarly, we have also piloted two international initiatives called International Solar Alliance and Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure. These are very important initiatives, international initiatives, for which the headquarters are based in India, and which will serve the humanity as a whole. So even within the framework of the G20, we are taking a lot of measures on digital public infrastructure, health, economy. So there are various initiatives being taken under these platforms.
That's amazing, definitely. And we can tell, the economic, Indian economic is really booming, and definitely it's one of the, I think, G7 countries, actually more than 7 countries now.
No, yes, we have had consistent economic growth over the last several years, and that is why we are today the 5th largest global economy, and we will become the 3rd largest by 2030.
So we have, unfortunately, we want to a last question, Your Excellency, if there is an advice you want to, direct and set it towards our viewers, what would you like to say to our Kuwaiti audience and non-Kuwaiti audience? What would you like to tell them about India?
No, first of all, I would, through your medium, wish Ramadan Kareem to all our viewers, both my Indian brothers and sisters and to my Kuwaiti friends. And to the viewers at large, I would say, look at India of today. While we have a very deep historical connections, but the India of today has drastically changed. Look at tourism in India. Every state in India today offers a lot of tourism potential. Look at medical facilities in India. Look at investments in India. So I think there is, being historically connected, we have a lot of good contacts, people-to-people linkages are the foundation of our relationship. My message to the viewers would be, particularly to the young Kuwaitis, please look at India and explore the opportunities available.
Definitely, we're talking about health-wise, tourist, studying, definitely trading. You know, India is a real destination. Your Excellency, Mr. Ambassador of India and the State of Kuwait, Dr. Adarsh Swaika, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Farid. Thank you.
Thank you. Dear viewers,